wrong with my phone. So part 2 of biofeedback loop of brain. So I was just answering the question around addiction, around how to deal with somebody who is abusive. And I'm going to broaden this to how to deal with somebody who's abusive, but also somebody who isn't respectful, somebody who isn't treating us the way that we deserve to be treated. Hi, I'm seeing someone's liking. Hi, psychedelic. Sorry, I got cut off. I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but for some reason, it's just completely ignoring it. And whenever somebody rings us, it cuts my live off, which is highly frustrating. But yeah, hi, psychedelic. So just to, while people come back on, if they do, I'm just talking about what psychedelic said about having to walk away from someone who's abusive. So also, just Chris is saying, hi Chris, how you doing? If anyone needs support, comment on our content and sure we'll reach out. I'm going to pin that. Thank you. My mods are on point. I really appreciate you guys. So yeah, psychedelics had to walk away from somebody, they said, who's narcissistic. And I'm going to broaden that to something that I realised is it doesn't even need to be people who are narcissistic who will walk away from. It can be people who are consistently ignoring our boundaries, who are consistently disrespecting us, people who don't value our peace and time. Anybody who is disrespecting us is not helpful to our recovery, to our mental health, and to our peace. And we can't flourish as a human being if our environment is chaotic and is insecure. And by environment, I don't just mean your house, I mean the people in your life. It is so incredibly important that the people in our life are making us feel secure and happy and grounded, not making us feel on edge and like who aren't conditional. I'm going to be there for you if, I'm going to love you if, I'm going to make you jump through hoops, I'm going to respect your boundaries providing I can be bothered to. You know, it's not healthy, guys. We need to be so careful about who is in our lives. And I've had to go through a process of just walking away from people. And it's got to the point where it doesn't even need to be a particularly a bad person or a malicious person. It's just had to be, is this person making us feel safe and secure, or is this person disrupting my peace? Does this person have the ability to show up for me the way that I show up for them? Is this person able to, does this person make us feel good about myself, or do they make us feel bad about myself? And that might just be a misalignment in two people. So yeah, just you've always got to protect your peace, guys. And honestly, as soon as you start to do that, you will see your life transform. Is your other live going to be before this one going to get uploaded to YouTube? Yeah, I'll upload all of them. It's just my stupid phone. I've got it on Do Not Disturb. And for the last 2 lives, I've had a phone call and it's knocked it off, which is really annoying. And then it makes us mute. Hi, Rach Tate. Hi, Rachie Tate. I didn't even know you were there before. How you doing? Rachie Tate is my little Tatey mate. Me little Tatey matey. Right, 1L. Hello, 1L. I recognise your name. How are you doing? Can you speak a bit about how to challenge abusive people in a way that's okay for us? Yeah, so I said this on the last live, so it might be worth if you want to catch up, because somebody asked about gaslighting, so you can watch the last live and I'll give a bit of information there, but I'll try and do it in a different way so that people are benefiting from hearing different techniques. So if somebody's been abusive, first of all, always give grace and empathy to any human being. If somebody's behaving in a way that isn't great, give them some grace. Now that's giving someone grace looks like saying, okay, I'm a human, you're a human. We all make mistakes, nobody gets it right, and every behaviour stems from our childhood. So if someone's been abusive, it might be because they're not able to regulate their emotions. It might be because they've been abused. It might be because they're holding resentment to people. It might be because they want to control people. All of these reasons aren't your problem. But if we can give someone grace for being a human being, it means that we can, instead of being emotionally reactive, we can approach a situation from calm. This is human to human. And we call this in a type of counselling, which is called transactional analysis. There's something called PAC, which is parent, P, A, adult, C, child. Parent, adult, child, PAC. Now, if somebody's acting childish, abusive, I'm going to throw my toys out the pram. I'm going to make you feel like it's your fault. I'm going to gaslight you. I'm going to be physically abusive to controlling. It's childlike state. And what that can make us flip into is either equally child, we freak out, we don't know how to deal with it, or we emotionally react, or it can make us go into parent. We want to tell them off, we want to fix the situation. We don't want to be in any of them. So giving someone grace lets us go into adult. Now, an adult would look at a situation who somebody's been abusive and say, right, I understand that this person's behaviour is about them and their upbringing and their experiences. There's a reason. I'll give that reason grace. What I won't do is excuse the behaviour, because abuse is not okay. It's violating my rights, it's violating my boundaries, and it's just not fucking okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach this like an adult. So an adult state of mind in PAC, first of all, breathes, regulates, and then thinks about it rationally about, do I want this person in my life? Because I'm going to put in a boundary, and a boundary is an action of distance and space. So how much do I want this person in my life? If they're being physically abusive or emotionally abusive, personally, that person will be gone. My boundary is, you no longer have access to me, not up for discussion. Now, if it's something where it's potentially somebody where you think, okay, I want to give them an opportunity, then you would come in safely and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. I understand why. So you can use something called empathetic assertiveness. So you're assertive, you assert what's happening and what the boundary will be, and you can start off with empathy. So you can just downgrade the situation. Look, I can see you're emotionally charged, but when you raise your voice, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So if you continue to raise your voice, I'm just going to leave the room. Empathy, I can see you're dysregulated. Warning shot, when this happens, I feel this way. Boundary, so I'm going to leave the room. And then if it that's the first warning. The second one might be, if this continues, I'm not going to be in this relationship anymore. And then the boundary is the action that you follow through with. So depending on what the abuse is, if it's somebody who's just shouting and raising the voice, if it's somebody personally though, the word abuse, I wouldn't be having in my life. I really wouldn't. So yeah, let's go through. Zombie, are you from Newcastle upon Tyne? Yes, I am. 4 to go. Make sure to like the live, guys, and share it with people who you think it would be helpful for. Thank you. How you doing, 4 to go? It's nice to see you again as well. It's nice to see everyone coming back. I've got quite a few little regular people, which is great. Removing yourself to allow healing is crucial. Going back to forgive and help is so important, to not allow resentfulness to stick to us. By experience, I can say it's so beneficial to help and forgive. Yeah, I've forgiven anybody who's ever abused us. I've forgiven. The only person I haven't forgiven, and I probably never will, and what I do is because I think sometimes we feel like we have to forgive someone. It can be really hard to do that. And I've tried successfully to forgive people, and it is helpful. What I've framed forgiveness as is grace. I think forgiveness feels like okay, so for somebody who's survived abuse, for me, giving forgiveness, which the AA and NA models tell you to do, and everyone says forgive someone, it really felt disempowering because I've had my power stripped away from us. And then I'm expected to forgive that person. And for me, forgiveness meant forgetting. And that was to do with certain childhood issues I had. So what I've learned to do instead is I'm going to give someone grace. I'm going to say, I understand why no behaviour happens out of a vacuum. So I can give you grace, but I don't want to let you in my life. And I can give you grace and send you love from over here. Like, it's two separate things. So a reason isn't an excuse. Giving grace doesn't mean you've got to be in my life. Loving someone can happen from afar with distance. Now, the one person I haven't forgiven, and I'm not even going to put energy into giving grace, is the some person who sexually abused us. And I've instead just worked on the trauma. And I think sometimes it's good to say to people is we don't have to forgive people if we don't want to. But what forgiveness represents, which Chris is talking about, is letting go. Just not the thing with abuse is if somebody abuses us or hurts us, by not letting go of the situation, which forgiveness is a roadmap to, what we let happen is that person still gets to hurt us in real time after the event. So the person who abused us was still impacting my romantic relationships decades later. And forgiveness would mean letting go, and then that means it wouldn't impact it. But equally, just working in therapy and learning to love myself and feeling safe in my own body and working on somatic healing has been just as successful as forgiveness would be and giving grace. So it's about letting go so that person isn't holding power over you in the moment. I'm going to scroll through. Zombie, I'm a Geordie. I'm in a relationship. I've been doing everything that I can and more in order to keep her happy. But does not matter what I do. I'm always in the wrong. She is hot and cold. Yeah, relationship dynamics are really difficult, guys. Think of it like this. We've got two people. So we all had experiences which aren't great in life. You know, we can't get through to adulthood unscathed. Nobody does. I'm 36. If there's anyone who's 36, I imagine you've just had just as much as crap as what I've had thrown at you. So if you think of it like that, you've got two people in a relationship and both of you are walking wounds and you're both triggering each other's wounds. One person says something, it's like, boom, activated. Another person says something, boom, activated. So you're constantly triggering each other. So for a relationship to work, we need clear boundaries and we need clear communication. And we need to be able to give ourselves grace and we need to be able to give the other person grace. So I would say the first things first, if somebody's been hot and cold and you're trying to make someone be happy, I would first of all look at what wounds are being activated in you and try and take personal accountability as much as possible. Where's my accountability in the situation? What am I adding to this situation? Where am I perhaps being a little bit triggered? And work on that stuff. And then once you've done that, work out a way to communicate it with your partner. And communication is key. And communication is empathy. So enter it with giving the other person grace. I'm a walking wound, she's a walking wound. We're just two human beings who make mistakes. So I'm going to talk to the person about how I'm feeling. And I'm going to start off with empathy, but I'm also going to state how I'm feeling. And then I'm going to let that other person discuss what's going on for them. I would say that's a good place to start with relationships. So yeah, don't go in guns and blazing. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame others. Think about how can we move forward. And again, sometimes it's about accepting if I'm trying my best to sort a relationship out and it's unhelpful, then I need to look at the boundary. What is the boundary? What's the appropriate boundary? Let's see what else. Psychedelic. Forgive others, not in their presence, but for yourself in stillness. Yeah. Forgive. I think for me, the word forgiveness felt loaded. I think it's because what I did all the time was, and the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is just in case anyone's felt like I felt. I really struggled with the word forgiveness. And it was because I felt like forgiveness meant forgetting. And it doesn't. It's exactly what psychedelic has said. It's forgive forgive what's happened for yourself in stillness. And I think if we can reframe the word what forgiveness means, it's easier to do. For me, I just changed the word, giving people grace, not forgiveness. Just because it felt uncomfortable. And I know there's other people who's probably feeling like I am, so have felt in my self-healing journey. That's why I mentioned that. Brian, I will never forgive those who abused or disrespected me. I don't let any of them rent space in my head. Surround yourself with good people and leave the bad ones behind. Yeah, I think Brian's saying exactly what I was saying there. I mean, correct us if I'm wrong, Brian, because you know you best, but it seems like we're quite aligned. I think I'm on the same level. I've had to come to peace with the fact that it's just about letting the situation go and saying this situation isn't worth thinking, feeling, disrupting my life over. Like, I'm just going to put it in the past. And I think, yeah, it doesn't always take forgiveness. For some people it does. I think for me and Brian, it's been a different thing. But I think it all leads to the same route, which is let it go and do whatever you can to let it go. So it wasn't as simple for me to go, I'm just going to let it go now. Let it go, goodbye. It meant I had to do sex therapy, I've had to do regular therapy, I've had to do somatic stuff, I've had to learn to love myself, I've had to learn to regulate my nervous system, I've had to make sure that I'm only surrounded by healthy relationships who make us feel safe in my own body. So yeah. 4 to go. Brian, not forgiving and letting go is the exact reason why they would still be in your head. It's very counterintuitive, I know. I don't know, 4 to go. I think this is why I kind of chose to speak about why I think it's about coming to peace. I think maybe is that something we can agree on, 4 to go? Because I think we've got like a divide here. We've got me and Brian on one side, and we've got 4 to go and other people on the other side, and psychedelic. And I think, can we agree that it's about making peace with the situation, and that might go through different avenues? Because I've genuinely got to a place where I'm at peace with my past and I'm at peace with what happened to us. I'm never going to sit here and forgive somebody who raped us when I was a virgin. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to do that, and that's okay. And I actually felt a lot of guilt and shame because I felt like, oh, as a therapist, I should be able to forgive this person. And it was actually making my journey a lot harder because I was feeling guilt and shame about not forgiving somebody who did that to us. So like I've had PTSD from it, and then I was like stressing myself out thinking, oh, but I'm meant to forgive this person. And actually what I've come to learn is I don't need to forgive that person. That person is actually quite irrelevant. What I need to do is just make peace with the situation and forgive myself for feeling like I've got to forgive them, and learn to just rebuild myself after that and not allow it to impact my current relationships. And I think I've successfully done that. Yeah. I've had, do you know what I mean? I think that's where I'm at with it. I'm not dismissing you, but I think there's a bit of a divide coming on. I'm just saying where I'm sitting with it. Feel free to challenge us though. There's no rights or wrongs. Right, is it school of addiction or the reverse? What do you mean by that, Kaylee? So basically, I've learned about addiction, and I've also overcame addiction. So the idea is just to, and one thing I know through everything that I've studied is addiction is just self-medicating. It's no different to getting prescribed different medications off your doctor. It's just this, we're getting them from a drug, we're prescribing ourselves them, and we're going to a drug dealer instead of a pharmacy. Same difference, guys. Just one has massive implications for health, but equally bit ropey the other one as well. I will say risk and reward has to be considered. So I'll talk about mental health as well. So that's what School of Addiction is about. It's just about teaching you guys everything I know, and hopefully trying to do it in a way through lived experience, so it's relatable and just digestible. I'm trying to break down everything so everyone can pick up what I'm putting down. Zombie, every morning I wake up, I get it for no reason at all. Feel like I don't make her happy because it's been like that for 12 years and I feel really down with it all. I work to have that space. Zombie, have you heard about Relate? That might be helpful. But Zombie, if you're wanting a one-to-one, I can't do counselling, but if you comment, Chris has put a pinned comment, read that and feel free to comment on my content, and I'll have a bit of a one-to-one with you if you want just a little bit of a snapshot of guidance to get you in the right place, because it's hard for us to hash things out with you whilst on a live. But I would, yeah, that's why I'm going to leave that, because I don't want to say something about your relationship and then it changes the direction of your relationship where really I'm not in the qualified to do that over a live, I would say. And I want to be ethical on this live. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there if that's all right. But feel free to we can have a chat, a proper chat if you want, and it'll be free of charge. Don't worry about money. I'm not here to charge people. Right, Bobby, I don't really forgive. It's like she did it. She's the moron. I think the world she lives in, and I wish her well. Yeah, that's where yeah, you wish someone well. Don't like it. It wasn't cool. I've removed myself. I wish you well. But yeah, that's where the top and bottom of that. Romantic. What is this school about? Addiction and mental health, because the two sides of the same coin. I just basically answer questions. I always teach a little topic, so I spent about 10 minutes in the beginning going off over a little topic that I've thought about for the day. Try to weave it in throughout the session, but then I just answer questions. I just want a space where people can come on and we can just all, I don't know, just chat openly and honestly about addiction, and I can throw in some neuroscience and biology and give you some strategies. But I'd say the main thing, if I had to put a school of addiction into a nutshell, it's learning how to love yourself. Learning how to love yourself and build resilience, because you're going to need both of them if you're going to face addiction recovery, 100%. So, yeah, that's what this is about. Bobby, with love and light, please stay in your own lane. I'm in my own lane. You're coming in my lane, which is School of Addiction Live. Like, if you don't want to be in my lane, just go on a different live. With love and light, always. Oh, God. Right, 4 to go. By forgiveness, I don't mean excusing what they did. I mean recognising their flaws, rising above the harm and choosing to let go so it no longer controls you. Yeah, I think, do you know what I think it is? I think it's, and it's probably just because I'm feeling, look, I'll always name things. So I think I feel a little bit like defensive over myself. Like, no, I'm not going to say the word forgiveness. And I think that comes from the relationship I have with the word. And if we're real, it's just pedantic. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being pedantic. It's a word. And I think exactly what you've said is exactly the same process that I've went through, and it sounds like the same process that Brian's went through. And I think maybe it's just somatics. Because, yeah, that's exactly right. And I will agree with somebody. If in any situations that we've had to go through, as Fortigo was saying, at the heart of it, to get to a place where we can live a peaceful life and we're not letting our past dictate our present and future, we do need to recognize their flaws, rise above the harm, and choose to let go so it no longer controls you. And that is the heart of it. It's the top and bottom of it. And I think we can frame it as forgiveness. We can frame it as, I don't want to forgive, but I want to do what Fortigo said, or you can call it grace, whatever I say. But the top and bottom of it is, guys, Fortigo's right. If we want to be able to get to a place of living a happy, peaceful life, where we're not being controlled by our past traumas, we need to recognize that the other person's flaws, give it grace, rise above the harm, recognize our own flaws. You know, maybe it's about forgiving ourselves for letting it take a hold over ourselves, because sometimes it's about, you know, for me, I felt like it was my fault. I had to work on that as well, and just letting it go so it no longer controls us. Now, there's a lot, I've done that successfully. It's taken us many years, guys, with a lot of different therapeutic techniques and whatever, friends. But yeah, that is the top and bottom of it. So 100% in alignment with your Fortigo. Mel, I have this feeling of not being good enough, even though I try my best. I just have a negative point of view on myself. I'm really sorry to hear that, Mel, and 100% relate. And look, our sense of identity comes from, usually is developed in childhood. And if we think about this, our identity in the most simplistic of forms is our neuroplasticity in our brain. It comes from how we think about things, it comes from past experiences, it comes from how we interact with others. So if we think about it, it's how our brains are wired up, is that we do not like ourselves, we don't feel good enough. I say this because we can change how we interact with ourselves in life by building new neuroplasticity. And it's a process. It's a long, grueling process, but it's a trajectory where you'll start to feel better and better and better the more you practice loving yourself. So Mel, I know at the moment you feel like you're not good enough. I 100% relate. And when I was in the knee deep in addiction, I hated myself. But actually that self-loathing was, when I look back, started in childhood and went right the way through. I just wasn't self-aware enough to realise it. And I've really got to a point where I am the person I love most in my life, and I don't care what people say about that. So it's a process of learning to love yourself. And that is thinking about, okay, if I woke up tomorrow, so I'm Mel, and I've waved a magic wand, I've woke up tomorrow, and all of a sudden, me, Mel, I'm feeling like, God, I love myself. And let's be real, if you love yourself, you're going to have a life that is in alignment with you, with that. Because if you love yourself, you don't tolerate bullshit. You don't tolerate people treating you like crap. You don't tolerate shit jobs that make you feel rubbish. You don't tolerate BS. So I've woke up tomorrow, I'm Mel, and I'm living Mel's best life. And think about, what is my life going to look like? How would I be speaking to myself? Who would still be in my life that's in my life today? What would my job be? What would my life look like? And then that's the North Star. And make a deal with yourself. I'm going to learn to do anything it takes to get me there. That might look like self-help books. It might look like every time you have a negative thought, counteract it. It might look like going to therapy. Loads of different things. And just every single day, do at least one thing that is one step closer to that dream life where Mel wakes up and Mel loves life. Okay? Because that's what I've done. And I tell you what, I'm so fucking grateful that I did that. Because I love my life and I love myself. And it's a really nice spot. And you'll realise that it was just a thought pattern. It was a way of being. And nobody deserves to feel not enough. Because we're all human and we're all enough just by being here. See what people are saying. Oh, Mel said, thank you for the love. It's just hard seeing myself as me. Right, do you know what we can do is we can sit there and think about, I've got a photo on my desk and it's a picture of me as a child, and I printed it off my phone and I framed it. And I thought to myself, right, we all started off as children, and there's very few people in the world who would look at a child and think, you're not enough. As you are, you're not enough, you're horrible, I don't like you, like all this stuff. You'd look at a little child and just think, wow, that's so cute. What a cute, lush little thing. So try and think about yourself as, I am a child. I was a child. I've always been enough. If I was enough as a child, I'm enough as an adult. The only difference is I've grown up and life's thrown a lot of shit at us. So I printed off a picture of myself and I used to think about, okay, if I was the things I'm doing and saying, would I do and say that to that version of myself? And I found that really helpful in my healing journey. And the picture was a symbol. You can put a picture of yourself as your screensaver on your phone, just to remind yourself. Another thing is, say there's a person in your life, we're talking about narcissists and abusive people earlier on, I would ask myself, would I allow this person to be in that child's life? If this was my child that I'm now reparenting, would I allow this person around my child? If the answer's no, boundaries need to be put in. And that boundary might be, you're not good enough for a child version of me, means you're not good enough for me. Bye, Chris. Thanks for holding the fort. You look strong as fuck, big arms. I like that. I'm very robust. I will say I'm scrappy. I'm quite scrappy. I am quite strong actually as well. I mean, I've had to ask the lad who I'm seeing if he can open me jar for a jar of beetroot I've got when he comes over. So there's limits on my strength, but I am quite. If I need something done, I will get it done. It's probably Mong strength because I'm autistic and ADHD. Right, Mels, thank you. It means so much. I try and think positive about myself. I sometimes just hate my looks or my personality. Mel, oh my God, I've got a thing for you. So I've got a podcast that I've put on pause, and it's called The Tarot Therapist. It's on comment on my social media. I'll send you a link for it. And I've got a full episode on body image. And you can listen to that podcast, and I've got loads of techniques on how to help you about your looks. But there's also in that, I can't remember how many episodes. There's quite a few episodes, and it's given loads of therapeutic techniques. I've paused it because it needs revamping because it's a little bit on the boring side, guys. So I apologise in advance for you, but if you want some tips on body positivity and loving yourself, it's a good place to start. Do you have fighting mates? Bobby, my friends call me hands, me fighting hands, because I do jiu-jitsu, so I've sprained my toe. So I'm not able to go to jiu-jitsu at the moment, but they call them me fighting hands because I have to cut my nails down for jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I do actually have fighting mates, and they're massive, you know. I love it. I've got such a good grip as well. So I'm learning jiu-jitsu and it's all lads, and every single one of them is like, your grip is, well, not every single one of them, but I've been said a few times like, your grip is insane. And I'm like, yeah, it's me fighting mates. Right, Trent, sometimes when I'm alone, I Google my name. Can I have a bit more context on that? Do you think Dudgy, I can't read that. Dudgy Joyce is a sausage. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or if you're being a little bit mental or if I'm being a little bit mental. It could be either of those things. But like, can we a bit of context or can we just like stop? Not for me, just because I don't think everybody wants us reading out these comments, not knowing what to do with it. John, best of luck with it, Sporty Spice. Oh, I love that. I love the Spice Girls. I'm obsessed when I was a kid. I got dressed up as them for my 25th birthday. We went to see the Spice Girls theatre. It was by Joanna Lumley. I was loving it, you know. Because it was in the West End in London, and we thought everyone would be dressed up as Spice Girls, and they weren't. It was just us. And everyone thought we were some kind of like promotion. So we had loads of tourists getting photos. So we were like, loving it. Head massive. We went walking into bars and they put the Spice Girls on for it. Also, when I was growing up, so I was like the black sheep in my family, and I loved the Spice Girls, and my family used to sing this song to it. So tragic. I used to get so upset as well. I used to go, if you want to be a moron, sing the Spice Girls song, and I used to go mental with it. Oh, anyways. Mel loves the Spice Girls, me too. Oh, zigzag. Right, Trent. Ali G did a classic interview with Posh and Bex. I haven't seen that one. I have not seen that interview. I do love Ali G though. Oh, do you know what? I love Borat. So funny. Right. Zombie, can I ask you something? Of course. Oh, thanks for the likes, guys. By the way, if anyone could give us a subscribe, that's so helpful to my channel. Like, really, really helpful. 4 to go, that's amazing that you're practicing jiu-jitsu. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's really good, guys. If anybody is struggling in addiction or mental health, like, doing martial arts is so good for you. But just doing any kind of sport, because you get 2 things from it, and there's so much neuroscience which backs what I'm saying. I'm not going to go into it because I feel like it's on a lot of my lives. But you're getting camaraderie. Like, even when you brain each other in jiu-jitsu, you're still helping each other and bigging each other up. It's mint. So you're getting connection, which we all need as human beings. We're no different to other mammals. And you also you're winning, you're setting goals, achieving them. And also, you're learning something new. It's great. And also, like, I'm starting to reconnect with my body, and it's a good feeling. It's empowering. But yeah. Zombie, are you going to ask us something, or are you just going to leave us hanging on the edge of my seat? I'm going to scroll around and answer some questions. Lucifer, addiction is great. It indulges you to explore your desires and feel better about yourself. Yeah, addiction's the solution, not the problem. I wouldn't go so far to say as it's great. I'm sure there's a lot of people who sat in active addiction going, yeah, real great. Great this. I have to say, didn't have the greatest of times, but I have learned a lot about myself. I'll give him that. And yeah, it does allow you to feel better about yourself in a really shit moment. And if we see that addiction's the solution, not the problem, we can break down some of the shame. But equally, it doesn't need to end there. It's good to say, yeah, it's a solution, but we need a better one. Because this isn't great. And Lucifer, if you do think it's great, it's probably not an addiction, because an addiction is something where you have a problem that you want to stop, aka you don't think's great and you can't stop. So maybe you don't have an addiction. Oh, Mel's, true. I see these perfect lives, just an air quote. I feel ashamed of my own life. Oh my God. Yeah, so get that. I think so many people feel like that. If we compare ourselves to other people's perfect lives, it does make us feel like we're crap, but nobody has a perfect life. Like, I'm living my best life. I'm still a single parent. I still have my struggles. That's somebody who's living the best life. And God, I felt like I was failing because right, just thought about a cancelling technique for you. So this is something from transactional analysis again, which I spoke about in the last live that I did before it got cut off. So there's something called transactional analysis, and what it says is that we all make up this story and idea of what we want our life to be by the age of 7. So by the age of 7, we've already mapped out what life we want. Now, it's really important that it's at some point in our adulthood, we sit down and intentionally think about, what do I want my life to be like? Because to be quite frank, I don't think a 7-year-old is the best person to be deciding what our lives are like. So this is where we feel like we might be failing, because a 7-year-old is influenced by society. So maybe for me, I felt like I wanted to have kids, be married, I wanted to be a lawyer. If that was my life now, married with my first ever partner, with kids, being a lawyer, like, guys, I struggle to pronounce people's names on YouTube or remember the names, let alone go and do a court case. I would be the worst lawyer in the world and I would hate it. So we need to stop here and actively think about, okay, I wouldn't let a 7-year-old run me life now. I'm certainly not going to let it continue to. And that's where that miracle question I talked about comes in. If I was on my deathbed, is another way of doing it. If I was on my deathbed and I was reflecting on my life, and I was going to reflect on my life right now, what would I want my life to look like? Is this a life that I would be happy I lived? And that means taking stock of your friendships, your job, the way you talk to yourself, everything, taking stock of it and thinking, is it in alignment with the person who on my deathbed would be looking back? Am I in a relationship that's just actually not that great? Then let's reevaluate it. Can I make it better? Can I, whatever? Yeah. Right, let's see what other people are saying. Zombies asked the question. I was on the streets and my mum and dad was looking after my 12-year-old daughter, but I had took really bad and lost her life. And my mum and dad did not tell me when the funeral was or what's happening. Wait there, I feel like I've missed part of this. Okay, Zombie sent a few messages here. Let's see what Zombie said. Okay, Zombie, I can see you've sent loads of messages. What's really hard is it's lost in loads of other messages. Would you like to have a one-to-one? If you do, just like Chris has said, comment on any of my content and we can have a phone call or Zoom. I'll not charge you. What I don't want is for you to get lost in a sea of comments, and I would love to hash this out with you. I really would. I can't be a therapist because I've hung my therapy hat up, but I can certainly sit there, hash it out with you over a free 1-hour session, and I'll bring all my therapy knowledge to the table. Because what I've seen you sharing is really deep, and I want to be able to support you in that, not do it over a live. I want to give it its due attention. Is that okay? Let us know, Zombie. Hi, Blue Music Addict, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Tomu, how you doing? Nice to see you again. I think you'll make a brilliant lawyer because people love to help. Because you love to help people. Yeah, but I'm super forgetful. I've got ADHD. And to be honest, I get really bored really easily. So unless it's something I'm interested in, I could hyper-focus on it. I don't think I would. To be honest with you, I just wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be. I do love a good debate, though. I love being right. I try not to be. I try and think there's room for two people to right, but I'm a naturally very bossy person. I used to be so bossy when I was younger. My mum used to tell us off all the time. I used to make like a play. So I'd make this script up for this play for me and my sister, and I would have my lines, make her lines, tell her what to do. Partway through the play, we'd go, "You're doing it wrong." Go over, start doing her part in the play and my part, and then my mum would tell us off and say, "Let her do her own plays," and it just used to end up in kick-offs and drama. And I remember this like famous day in my family, and it's called the Day of the Barbie Doll, and it was the day my sister stopped letting us boss us about. And my mum says that life was never the same, but basically I'd bossed her about one time too many, and she just basically got a Barbie doll and was hitting us repeatedly over the head with it like some psychotic person who's like lost the plot, like somebody who's been abused for years and's got diminished responsibility. And my mum said she came upstairs and I was crying my eyes out, she was just hitting us. And apparently ever since then I was never allowed to boss her about. But yeah, I'm quite bossy, but I don't know if that's really a good lawyer trait or not. Blue Nose, good, thank you. I did email you. Not sure if you received it. I'm sure you probably have a backlog to catch up with. No, so basically, just to make sure that I'm not burning myself out, because I do have bipolar, so I've got to be careful with myself. And I've had hypomania up until recently. Is I make sure that I only answer comments and emails on work days, which is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I've seen that you've emailed. I'm just making a point of being boundaried with work so I don't burn out, and that means I can show up better for you guys. So I will pick it up today because it's Monday, but I've just done my school run live. Then I'm going to catch up on emails and comments. Tomu, that is a lawyer quality, naturally bossy. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it probably is. I'm really, do you know what it is though? For me, what I'd be more inclined to do is the policy side of stuff. I really want to influence policy. That's been a little pipe dream. And I've done a master's in addictions policy. The book I've written is a retribute to, is that the right word? A retribute? It's a fire back at the war on drugs. So reason I'm talking about that, I really don't like moral injustice. I really don't like it. And if someone's been unjust, I get really powered up. And then I'm bossy on top of that. Probably just a good leader, I would say, because I'm quite relaxed and balanced as well. But anyways, I'm diagnosing myself with stuff I don't need to here. Zombie, to her, it's really bad that I have that done to me. I think anyone would have done. Okay, Zombie, I really want to be here for you. The problem is there's loads of people commenting, so your comments are spread out with multiple comments in between. I want to be able to be there for you because what I can see is you've clearly been through something really shit and really complex, and I really want to support you, but I need to support you outside of this live because I can't give you the proper support that you need. And what I'm really conscious about guys on this live is that I need to be ethical. So I'm happy to give you a free hour of my time, no charge, to hash this out. I'm fully qualified, like more qualified than most counsellors. I've got 2 counselling degrees, so I'm the right person to talk through this with you, but it needs to be in Zoom or a phone call. Is that okay, Zombie? Let us know. Please comment on any of my content, so any of my shorts or my old lives, I'll get a little notification and then I'll give you my email and we'll take it from there because I do want to support you, Zombie. Your comments are fragmented in the sea of other comments. So let us know if that's okay to have a one-to-one. Soul, when I was in a relationship, I could cruelly flirt with other girls and I was not serious in the relationship. I understand that, and when I found my wife, I do not want to let go. I am finally happy. I love that. And yeah, do you know what it is? I think it's about finding someone. Yeah, it's about that. I think it's like, I'm trying to answer this in a way that's. I'll be honest with you. I'm now like living. I try to be real. I'm now like reliving all of my relationships, and I think I want to, instead of answering this question from a professional perspective, because I've also got my own limbic system on. I'm like now sort of like sieving through things. I want to ask you a question because I feel like you'll be helpful to other people more so than me in this moment. What do you think is different? Because what I would say is it's a level of respect, but is it also that you've been on your own healing journey? Is it that you were in the right headspace to meet somebody like your wife, or is that you have a different level of respect for her? Does she have different standards, etc.? I'm just interested to know, and I'm sure there's listeners who would like to know what's the difference, because there's a clear behavioural difference. And I've been on the negative side of that as a woman, and it's not a nice feeling. I'm sure there's people out there who feels like that as well. Farah, how long does it take to be a counsellor? Well, technically in the UK, you don't need to even have a degree to be a counsellor, which is quite scary. But if you're going to do it ethically and you want to work for an organisation, you can do what's called a foundation degree, which is so you have to do 2 qualifications leading up to that, or an access course. So an access course is a year, or you can do 2, I can't remember what they do, level 2, level 3 counselling, which is 2 years, and then a degree, which is 2 years. So 3 to 4 years. I've actually done 2 counselling degrees. So that is a 3-year degree, a 2-year foundation degree, and a 1-year course. So it took me 3, 4, 5, 6 years to be a counsellor. So yeah. Gav, he will never be happy and full of shit. Once a flirt, always a flirt. I don't know. I think people have the capacity to change. I think it takes a lot to change. It takes a lot of introspection to change. Look, the only reason I say this, Gav, is I've changed a lot of my own toxic traits. And there's still probably some lying under the surface that I'm not aware of. So, I don't know. Maybe he has changed, but I've never been a flirt. I've always been seriously loyal. So, I don't know that answer to that. I've never cheated. I never will. I've never flirted with people when I'm in a relationship, never will. So I don't know. Rachy Tatey, not always a flirt. I used to be, but would never with my current partner because he makes me so complete. I love that, Rachy Tatey. Yeah, I think it's about difference. Okay, so I'm going to give you as an example. I had Rachy Tatey, I'm just going to put you as a moderator. Why are you there? Add as moderator. Rachy Tatey's my matey. Tatey matey. Right, okay. So I remember when I had a client who was with somebody who had cheated multiple times. And I'm not going to talk about the client or any details because it's unethical. But what I did is I instantly thought, there's a moral mismatch here between me because I don't agree with cheating. And I had this idea that once a cheat, always a cheat. And I thought, right, I'm going to go and really look into the research about this because I want to come to somebody with a non-biased viewpoint. And the best way to drop our biases or fixed opinions, like once a cheat, always a cheat, is to go and learn about it. So I went off and started learning about it. And what I learned is that it's not always once a cheat, always a cheat, but it's likely that once a cheat, always a cheat. And the key difference between this few amount of people who break the mold is they have to have some serious accountability. They have to learn the lessons. They have to look at themselves. And there's a whole lot of work going on. Usually, so I've been cheated on in the past. And usually it's blamed on the other person. It's like, it's your fault. We weren't happy. You weren't doing this. That's zero accountability. So we can use language as an opportunity to say, has this person used change language? How do they talk about the cheating and stuff like that? Stuart, hi Ashley, I commented on your live a couple of weeks ago. I really need some major help. How can I get your email so that I can get in touch with you, please? Did I not pick it up? I'm so sorry, Stuart. Usually I reply to every comment. Right. My email is I wish I could write a comment out. Chris, is this oh no, he's not on here anymore. Right, Stuart, I'm really sorry I didn't pick up your message. Do you mind just putting another comment on? It is a rare case where I don't get a comment. I miss a comment. But I promise you I'll pick it up. Because what I'll do is I'll go through and search through all me. Or let us know, was it a short or a live, and I'll go through. Or leave another comment. I'm really sorry. That's quite unusual. I've not picked up your comment. But I do apologise with you. But trying to say me email on a live is quite difficult. Anyways, I'm gonna do one last comment because I've been doing this live. I've done 2 lives off the bounce and I'm quite tired, guys. So I'm gonna answer 2 comments and then I'm gonna go. Right, younger, it was always difficult. SU has said, younger, it was difficult for me to be in a relationship. I've always gotten along better with women than men, and my nature is to please others. That does make it really difficult to be in a relationship if our nature is to please others. And honestly, it's something I've struggled with, and I've had to learn to put boundaries in. And I used to think of putting a boundary in and saying, I don't like something, or this is how I feel. I used to think this was going to damage the relationship, but realistically, it doesn't. It gives the other person a blueprint. If we're constantly pleasing someone at our own expense, it's gonna be harmful to the relationship in the long run. If we put in boundaries, providing that person is secure enough to receive them, it's going to strengthen the relationship, because essentially you're saying, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Let's please try to honour that, and you tell me what you would do and don't like, and I'll honour that, and then we're both feeling seen and heard in the relationship. If they can't take it on the chin, that's a them problem, and it probably was never going to survive anyways. Right, last comment. Stuart, it was a live, Ashley. Right, okay. Can you do us a favour, Stuart? I'm really sorry to have to ask you to do this because you have done it already. Can you just comment again on any of my content? I'll get a notification. I'm really sorry that you've slipped through the net. It's quite unusual, but I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. I'll look out for your name. Rachel Tatey said subscribe if you haven't. Yes, please. That would be so helpful, guys. Justin, I'll please you at everything expense. What do you mean by that? Oh, thanks, Rachel Tate. He said I'm doing an amazing job supporting all these people. I love these lives, you know. Everybody's lush. Do you know what I love as well? I just love the way I get loads of regulars and everyone answers each other's questions. I've got amazing moderators, which I want to say thank you to. You will, Stuart. Brilliant. Thank you. Rachel Tate, day 18 clean. She's doing amazing. And Rachel Tatey's been describing it as having our cravings as having monkeys on our back, and it's a technique called personification. So I'm gonna end it on this. It's a little technique. If anybody's dealing with a craving, if you personify it, it's easier to fight back with it. So I had an alter ego which was Trashly, you know, because we don't feel like ourselves when we're struggling in addiction. And hers is called The Monkeys on Our Shoulders. And what Rachel Tatey's been saying is, I am stronger than the monkeys. She's like, the monkeys aren't getting us today. She's been messaging in our group message, today the monkeys are loud. And we've all been then straight away, whoever gets the message first, you're doing great. And we're backing her, and she's leaning into the support. She's like putting in boundaries, saying, the monkeys are loud, you look after the kid, I'm going to go do something that cheers us up. The monkey's allowed, you look after the kid, I'm going for a 10-minute break. So personifying it allows you to say, okay, the monkey's allowed, this is what I need, let's do that instead. And it acts as a circuit break. It's amazing what she's been doing. So anyone who's in early recovery and you're struggling, try Rachel Tatey's technique. Zombie, I know you mean well. I don't have any credit on my phone. It gets put on the side every day. I'm only talking to you now because she is out but won't be long my life. Ah, right, okay. Just can you comment? Can we email, Zombie? Can you email? Or do you mind us answering comments? Because I can type comments in the on my existing shorts. It's just on the live. I haven't been able to read all your comments, so I don't fully understand what's going on. So if you want to type a comment into on my content and then delete it after if you want, or I can give you my email if you comment on any of my content. I can arrange a time to ring you to save your credit. There's different ways to go about it. I haven't been able to read all your comments, Zombie. That's the problem. So I cannot really support you properly in that, if you get what I mean. Yeah, I'm going to pin this comment. Yeah, thanks, Fortigo. Fortigo, do you want to be a moderator? Because I feel like you're doing it naturally. You don't have to be, by the way, but I feel like you're naturally doing it, and I think you're great, and we seem quite aligned in approach and how we think about things. Even when we're disagreeing earlier on, we're agreeing on the core concept, and we'll have a different viewpoint on semantics. I think you're actually great. But even if not, Fortigo, cheers for holding the fort. Yes, you'd appreciate it. Thank you, Fortigo. I would also massively appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to have loads of moderators. And what I love about it, I just want to say thanks to the moderators and just anybody who's naturally replying to people. The idea is I'd love for everybody to be supporting everyone. Right, Zombie. My life is a mess. She goes through my phone. I know you mean well, but thank you. I like coming on here. Oh, Zombie. Right, Zombie. I can't see all your messages, but can you, in a nutshell, say if there's one thing that I could support you with, like one core thing, can you write in one message? I was going to go, but I'll stick about and read your message. Just in one comment so it doesn't get lost of what's going on, and if I could help you, like one thing that I could help you with, ask us and I'll do my best, okay? And anybody else who's watching, can we all just try and support Zombie? Right. Psychedelic. So I'm preparing my bathroom to paint the walls. I have to do stuff, but without money, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm psychedelic. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I wish I could do like a GoFundMe for psychedelics painting. This is where the version of me who was so stressed with money is want to come in and rescue, and I know that's not helpful. It's so, do you know what it is? I'm just going to offer you empathy if psychedelic, like, it's so shit. I know it's so shit, especially when you're in early recovery and you're trying to do things to support yourself and you just, yeah, financial stress is the worst fucking stress. I'm so sorry that you're going through that, especially when you're trying to be proactive, like do DIY. I genuinely wish, honestly, I need €1,000 to make my whole apartment, need new paint and other stuff. If you want, I'll do a GoFundMe page that I'll put on my YouTube channel, Psychedelic. I'm happy to help. If you want that, comment on any of my content. Because do you know what it is? Psychedelic's doing absolutely amazing. Like, absolutely smashing life. And it's so hard in early recovery because he's doing everything he possibly can to smash through addiction. If you don't want the GoFundMe page by Psychedelic, I'm not trying to embarrass you or treat you like charity work, but I'm just saying if that's something you want, I'm happy to do it and promote it on my channel. But yeah, it's like he's doing everything and it's so shit when you've got no money, you're going through the mill. Like, I really feel for your psychedelic, but you're fucking smashing it, honestly. He shows up all the time. He's smashing it, if like, he really is. I'm just waiting for Zombie to send us a comment. Right, my life, because if I say anything about I'm homeless, right, the thing is, Zombie, I need to be so careful that I'm being ethical here. And it sounds like you're in between a rock and a hard place. And I can't, without the right, I would need to have a phone call with you to deal with this. My life is a mess. It's not that your life's a mess. It's just that it's not like I can't help you. I'm not saying you're a lost case or you're somebody who can't get from A to B. Everybody can get themselves out of any sticky situation. I've got myself out of some seriously shit situations. I have crawled out of the depths of hell. So it's not like I'm not saying you're unhelpable. That's not even a word, but I'm not saying it's not possible to support you. What I'm having to do as a healthcare professional is be careful, because I'm helping you with minimal information on a public domain on a live, and I don't feel like I can give you the ethical support that you need, if you get what I mean. I'm not trying to patronize either, but I'm just like thinking of it like for me as a therapist, I have to think about ethics. Now, I get you've got no credit, and I get you've got no, she goes through your phone. If you want to, the next time you have an opportunity to come on, if you comment on any of my content, I can arrange, we can work out together through email some way to get past this barrier. The other thing is that I can get you services around you which can help. But what I'm worried about is I'm not going to be ethical if I give you any support. Does that make sense? Zombie, I really feel for you because you're saying, I know I wish I had a better life. One thing I can say to you is, it sounds like your life's in dire straits, and I've been there, and I'm sure a lot of people on this live, because it's an addiction recovery live, I'm sure a lot of people can say they've had their life in dire straits as well. My friend Rachel Tatey, life was in dire straits. So it can feel like, right, my life's going to pot. I don't know how to deal with this. And this is the same for anybody else who's feeling that sense of helplessness that I'm really seeing zombies in. We feel like, I just don't know what to do. Life feels shit, and I can't see the woods for the trees. I can't see a way out. So what we could do is say, right, this isn't going to be an overnight job. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to stabilize myself. So it's a one step at a time. We're in dire straits, we're in the depths of hell, and we need to be over here where it's peaceful, calm, happy. So we've got to think of it like I've got to carve a path out of there. I've got to go one step at a time out of hell into peace and calm. So the way you do that is stabilize yourself. That looks like learning to regulate your nervous system, which is really simple. Breathing techniques, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. So just relaxing your nervous system. Breathing, I learned this amazing technique from someone called Gillian Fortune. And what she said was, relax your body, take a deep breath, breathe out and say, I am in control. And what it's doing, it's saying a signal to your brain, I'm in control, and nothing else. And she said, just repeat this to yourself. So relax your nervous system, say, I am in control. And then that's it. That's your first step to getting you out of it. Because what that'll do is it'll just calm you down enough to say, right, life is shit, but I'm in control. It doesn't always have to be shit. I just need to, one step at a time, work out how to make my life not shit, how to deal with all this stuff. Has anybody else got any techniques of how they've calmed gotten themselves from A to B when they've been in, you know, planet shit, how they've got a planet happy, planet cool. And can anybody just comment, like, reply to Zombie and give some advice, some things that's helped them? Because that's mine, I would say. Right, let's see what other people are saying while people comment for Zombie. Dimon, is that Daimon? Just gonna call you D. Wow, so cute, woman. I think you need some addiction to have reason. See she more often. What? Is that my dyslexia or is that your comment? I don't know if you've typoed or if I'm like, just can't read. Probably a bit of both. Hey, I have a question, but I would like to know what the topic is. Is any questions allowed? Yeah, AK. AK, no, AK. Just AK, we'll call you. I'm a therapist. It's an addiction channel, but let's be real. Addiction is a form of self-medication to something else going underneath. So it's free for all. Just ask us questions. Just please say, don't mess with me gold. It will... Is there more to that? Every week she tells me to get out if I don't do anything for her, but I do everything for her. I just don't know what to do. I wish I could just go and not come back, but I can't, you know. Zombie, I don't know the start of the topic. That's the problem. I don't know who's telling you to get out. But again, just breathe and say, I am in control. Calm your nervous system. When your nervous system's calm, you'll be able to switch your prefrontal cortex. Right, when we're just in dire straits, what's happening in our brain, if we look at it from a neurological level, our limbic system is firing and wiring. And our limbic system is our emotions, it's like impulsivity, it's all these different things, it's your fight or flight. So our limbic system is online. When we start to breathe and say, I am in control, we're starting to strengthen and engage our prefrontal cortex. And our prefrontal cortex is where the part of our brain which allows us to think rationally about something. It allows us to make plans based in rational thinking. It allows us to act from calm and regulation. So what we need to do, the best step you can do, Zombie, is calm your nervous system so that you can start to strategize on how to deal with this situation. Because you yourself will be the best person to answer this. And I can't help you on live without knowing the full information. So we need to just every day work on calming yourself. If you watch the last live at the beginning, I told you how to do this and I explained the neuroscience a bit more. So I gave you strategies. So you can even watch the last live and it'll give you some information. But I think the best thing you can do now is think about, right, let's regulate my nervous system regularly throughout the day. Say, I'm in control until we get to a place where you're calm, you're stabilised, and you can think up a rational way to move through this. Because at the moment, it just sounds like you're just stuck and lost, which is okay. That's a very human place to feel. And I've felt like that myself, and I'm sure many people on the live have. So regulate, then strategise. Let's see what other people are saying. Yeah, you need a therapist, have a chill bath, relax your mind, then log into BetterHelp therapy or a book or immediate session. Yeah, I used to be a therapist on BetterHelp. The only thing with BetterHelp is it's not free. And if somebody can't afford credit, I imagine there's a payment barrier. But depending where you are, in the UK, you've got the Samaritans, you've got loads of different places, like free helplines that you can ring up as well. But I know there's barriers, so... but yeah, that's a good point. Chill bath, relax your mind. Yeah, that's distracting. So that means your limbic system has a chance to calm down. Again, it gives you a circuit break so you can engage your prefrontal cortex. Right, Fortigo is saying, zombie, sadly, you've been in an abusive relationship for so long that your amygdala is dysregulated. Yeah. You were constantly in a state of fight or flight with your partner. You definitely need therapy. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying, like, someone on a live, you need some bigger support, but don't worry if you can't have access to therapy right now. Don't worry. The best thing you can do, so with any type of stressful situation, we'll have two things that's happening. We'll have our body that's in fight or flight, and we'll have our brain which is in fight or flight. Two different chemicals: adrenaline from our adrenal glands in our body, noradrenaline in our brain from our, like, being in fight or flight, how we think. So there's two things in a situation we need to deal with. It's brain and body. So the best thing we can do is just calm your body, and that will dampen your mind down. So I think, like Fortigo said, your amygdala's been firing and wiring, fight or flight. Work on regulating your nervous system. That doesn't take anything apart from sitting there on a regular basis, breathing. I said this in the last live. I'm gonna end on this point. If you think about your fight or flight like this, now if we are in a happy, stable environment and relationships, our baseline is here. Then we have a threat or a perceived threat. Our fight or flight gets activated. We'll come up here. When the threat's gone, it goes back down. If we are living in a life which is constantly triggering fight or flight, our baseline is going to be here. Then something happens, we go up here, then we come down. It's a really hard place to be because you're living in survival. So if we practice relaxing our bodies, breathing, regulating our nervous system, we can try and get our baseline down here. And if our baseline's down here, we're going to be able to rationally think about, okay, what is this situation? How am I going to support myself? Get myself into therapy, do what I need to do. Yeah. Yeah, like one ill says, free help is available. Yeah, I'm free help as well, guys. Like, when you get an opportunity to have a one-to-one, like, comment on any of my stuff. And there's so many other free help. Samaritans, you can get discount on BetterHelp if you're unemployed. I didn't know that one, ill, because I was just on the therapy side of it. YouTubers sometimes have discount codes. Yeah, there is. Let's see what else people are saying for zombie. And look, there's so many people who just want to help. People want to help people. We've got loads of people on this live supporting you now, zombie. Like, there will be support there if you need it. Dawn, I think recognizing that it's an abusive situation is already way ahead of a lot of people. I don't know if zombie said that it is an abusive situation, though. I haven't been able to read all the comments. That's the problem. It's been lost in a sea of comments. It doesn't sound like a healthy situation, I will say that much. Gav, your channel's been abused by keyboard cranks. Please don't be fooled by these knob jocks. My friend always calls people cranks. It makes us laugh. I don't care really, Gav, because they're driving my content out. By engaging, they're driving us out to the right people. I love a good crank, me. Right, let's see what other people are saying. Oh, what's some psychedelic saying? I was never homeless, but I know someone. He was addicted and now clean for over 15 years. It helps him to move, find an apartment and work, and now he is stable. It's easier in Germany to become help. Do you mean to get help? Psychedelic. Right, Dawn. I have a friend who blocks me for months if I ever suggest her partner is abusive. Yeah, it's one of them things. It's everybody's got to come to their own conclusions. It's about whether or not you can handle watching that, because it's a painful thing to watch someone be abused, especially if you become the buffer. if you become the person that they're constantly leaning on, and it puts you in a tricky spot where it's something in counseling called drama triangles. So if somebody's in a victim mode, like they feel it, they're either are a legit victim in a situation, and by victim they don't know how to move out into survivor, or they perceive themselves as a victim. What'll happen is you have a victim, a perpetrator, and a rescuer, and often you'll have somebody who's in the victim mode who's going on to this person like, rescue me, here's a perpetrator, rescue me, and it can be really exhausting because there's never any movement. There's always a perpetrator, there's always a rescuer, and there's always a victim, and it can be draining. And there's two things you can do in that situation. You can remove yourself from the drama triangle, which, by the way, I will say, I talk about the fact that I used to have toxic traits. One of the toxic traits I realised is I was always creating drama triangles. There was always a victim, usually me. There was always a perpetrator, someone doing something wrong. And there was always a rescuer, somebody I was bitching to. But yeah, the best things you can do is either remove yourself from the drama triangle or reframe it, which is, if you're the rescuer, turn into a cheerleader, like a caregiver, so kind of saying, encouraging the other person to have agency to leave. Or if you're the perpetrator, you just be assertive. Yeah, if you're the victim, you try and empower yourself. So yeah, it can be a difficult relationship to navigate, and I've been there, and I actually just had to remove myself because it was too much. It was watching my friend like constantly in pain, and I just felt like I didn't know what to do, and I tried everything I could, and it just got to the point where I'm like, I actually need to take a step back. This is like draining and really like affecting my mental health as well as theirs. And I absolutely adore the person. It's just, yeah, it was really sad, actually. Right, I'm gonna go because I'm actually really tired, and I only stayed on to support Zombie. But thanks to everyone who's came on. Could you please give us a subscribe, guys, if you liked the live, because that's super helpful for us. Thanks to everyone who's commented. Thanks to all my moderators. These have been amazing. Bye, Guy. How are you doing? Oh, Guy, can I ask you a question? Because you said I met you in Norfolk. I've been to Norfolk twice. Are you somebody who knows Dara? Or did I meet you another time? It's been on my mind. I'm like, which time when I went to Norfolk did I meet Guy? Thank you for helping everyone. Thanks for to go. I love this. I can't sit here and say it's like I can't sit here and say, oh, I'm just doing it for everybody else. I'm just such a good person. I love it. I love coming alive with you guys. And I love everyone who comes on as well, like starting to get like, and do you know what is? I'll be real. I'm a single parent. I work remotely. It's really nice having connection. We're all humans, and it's good to have some good old human connection, even if it is through a screen. It's good for the soul. Anyways, I was going to wait for Guy's reply, but I'm just going to go. I'll have to live in the uncertainty of where I've met Guy, which time I went to Norfolk. But thanks for moderating me live, and I'll speak to you all, and thanks to everyone who's joined, and bye.